welcome to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. I'm Andrew Cavanaugh. I just want to say thank you for coming back to the channel. I just want to let you guys know that I apologize in advance for not having any videos on here for a while. I have basically been living in an apartment under construction. I'm actually going to be moving out of here soon, so you're going to see a new background and stuff coming up shortly. But basically, I'm going to be, moving. The apartment that I'm living in now was kind of under construction for a while. They were working on the roof for about 3 or 4 weeks straight, and every single day they'd be banging away at the apartment. Sadly, I don't film this in a set. I just film this in my home, and because of that, I was not able to make a video without extreme noise in the background. So I just decided to take a few weeks off, but now I'm back, and it's the middle of November at the time of filming this video. It's November 17th today. So I just wanted to kind of do a couple videos on Mo-vember, what I like to call Mo-vember. I want to do a couple videos about movies that I really like that just so happen to feature somebody with a mustache predominantly in the film. Today I'm going to be looking at a movie that I revisited recently. It's an older film, definitely not a new movie, but it's a movie that stars Tom Selleck. It's from 1984. And it was written and directed by Michael Crichton, who wrote the novels for Disclosure, Rising Sun, and Jurassic Park, among many other things. Also was the creator of ER, a great television show that was on for many years. And just recently they remade Westworld, which was another film of his that is now a very popular HBO show that I really enjoy. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But basically today I'm going to be talking about a 1984 film called Runaway, which stars Tom Selleck, like I mentioned earlier, who has pretty much, in my mind, the greatest mustache to ever grace, TV and film, basically. He has just got an astounding mustache, and this movie is definitely one that was made during his prime, so it's a great little feature starring him. Not many movies made with Tom Selleck. He made a few movies here and there, mainly TV star, known for Magnum P.I. I don't know if you can see it in the frame or not, but it's right over my shoulder here. One of my favorite TV shows of all time. And this was a film that was supposed to be a big hit, and it really wasn't. Kind of didn't really tarnish Michael Crichton's film career, but I really enjoy this movie, and I wanted to talk to you about it today. Movie came out in '84, like I mentioned earlier, and basically the movie is a futuristic kind of film. It's a futuristic, I should call it, action film. Basically, Tom Selleck's character in the movie, his name is Ramsey, and his character is basically a cop on the LAPD Runaway Squad. And the Runaway Squad handles robots that are not following protocol, that are kind of doing what they want, kind of runaway robots is what they call them in the movie. And the robots become increasingly more violent. The robots that start the film off, actually, the movie starts off with Tom Selleck and his new partner, played by Cynthia Rhodes in this film. They are landing in like a field where a farming robot has kind of gone haywire and is running crazy. And they basically are tasked with stopping these robots. Well, a robot then kills somebody and puts a baby in danger, and that's a very intense scene. And they soon kind of find out that there is a very evil man who is putting these microchips and altering these robots so they will actually harm human beings. And that bad guy is named Luther, and that's played by Gene Simmons in this movie. And Gene Simmons gives what may be one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a major motion picture. This guy is a one-note performance, and it's kind of justifiably so. His character in this movie is basically pure evil. He is not there to be nice to anyone. He is just an evil person that just wants to do awful things all the time. And that's his part in this movie. And I'm kind of surprised that Michael Crichton didn't write this character any kind of deeper than just a really mean, evil guy. Basically, Selleck is going after this guy. That's pretty much your movie. That's it. Action ensues. Again, not the greatest plot, but it's a very entertaining movie. And even though the movie didn't age well since 1984, it's kind of interesting that it's a really charming movie. The movie really does look like it's filmed in 1984. There's no way around that. The robots in the movie are very, very funny looking. They're really janky looking compared to what we see as robots today. But I think it's kind of funny that the robots are very much 80s robots. There's a robot in the movie that Tom Selleck owns that basically takes care of his son. It's like a nanny robot while he's not home. And the robot even has a name. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's kind of a very kind of funny name, but the robot that takes care of the kid basically looks like a small refrigerator with lights on it. It's really janky looking, but it's very funny. It's charming in an 80s kind of way, but I really enjoy it. I think also that the movie has some very exciting action sequences. There's a really good car chase near the end of the film where Gene Simmons is kind of throwing these like drone robots on a highway. They're like driving towards Tom Selleck and his partner, and they're kind of tasked with kind of like shooting these robots with these lasers. Again, very much 80s action, but it's really well done. The movie is shot really well. I think Crichton did a really good job of making the movie look really nice. It's not a dirty, nasty kind of look at the future. It's actually a really good-looking future in this movie, even though they don't really give a date or a time in this. It's definitely Los Angeles, they show that much, but the movie doesn't look like Blade Runner, where Blade Runner was kind of a bleak look at the future. This is pretty much a nice, clean look, although, of course, it's looking at the future from the 80s, so it's gonna look really 80s. I think more than anything, this movie is probably the most 80s looking movie I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, the music is all synthesizers. It's very well done, though. And I think Tom Selleck, as an actor, does pretty much what he can in this. He's very charming. His character is very, very, very appealing. He's a badass, but he's also very not really by the book, but he's very much all about doing his job no matter what the cost is. He just wants to get the job done, and I really like that kind of character. It's kind of Dirty Harry-ish in that kind of way. I really like that aspect of his character. Also, though, he has flaws, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the finale of the movie really makes his character face his fears, and it's very intense. All the performances in the movie are pretty much, standard. There's nothing really bad except for, I'd say, Gene Simmons is really kind of rough in this movie, but again, he's not really given much to do. Same as Cynthia Rhodes. Again, she's a very good actress, but in this, she's just kind of the naive partner. You get to know her a little more as the movie goes on, which is nice, but again, she's really not there to be more than the partner/love interest to Tom Selleck in this. Ironically, my favorite performance in the movie is actually Kirstie Alley, and she kind of plays like a femme fatale character in this. Again, don't want to give too much away, but her part in this is really interesting. And again, she does what she can. She's basically there to be eye candy. Keep in mind, this was made in 1984, where Kirstie Alley was really, really smoking hot. And she does a really good job in this. I think her character is really interesting. You kind of want to know more about her. You never really find out much, but again, she does a good job. I really like her part in this movie. Overall, I think the finale has a really great payoff. Some really intense scenes near the end, and it really has a moment in the end that is one of the most shocking kind of moments I've seen in the movie in a while. It really took me by surprise, and the first time I watched this movie, it scared the shit out of me, and I was not expecting it at all from a movie like this. Again, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but you really should watch this movie. The movie gets a lot of flack, but I find it to be very entertaining. I think for what it is, it's a very fun movie. Although it definitely shows its age at this point. But Tom Selleck is great in this. Very watchable, as always. He's pretty much watchable in everything that he does. I like it. I think it's a great movie. Ironically, one thing I want to mention, though, is if you're going to look for this movie, I have it on DVD. I don't have the DVD with me right now because I've begun packing stuff, but the way that I watched this movie recently was I actually bought it on iTunes. And the reason why I bought it on iTunes is you can't find this movie on Blu-ray. And you can get it on Blu-ray in other countries. I think it's available in like Germany and parts of Europe. It's kind of weird, but in America, you can't watch this movie in high definition on Blu-ray. You just can't get it. It's not available. But you can get it digitally on iTunes. I think it's like $12, $13 or something. But I find it funny that a movie that's about the future is not available on Blu-ray. You can only buy it digitally, which is kind of seen as high-tech. But again, kind of ironic. Something else I want to mention, though, in this movie, even though Michael Crichton did get a lot of things wrong in his look of the future in this movie. Again, obviously, we're not using robots to do everything. However, maybe someday. But I think it's kind of neat to mention that Tom Selleck's sidearm in this movie is like a long slide, like Colt 45, like 1911 type gun. And at the time, that was seen as kind of ridiculous to have him have that kind of gun as a sidearm as a police officer, as they were carrying like revolvers and stuff back then. But now it's actually kind of standard to have that kind of gun, which I think is kind of funny. And a lot of police officers now carry a weapon like that, especially in the LAPD. So Michael Crichton got a few things right in terms of looking at the future. But overall, it's a very fun kind of fun 80s action movie. Tom Selleck is very appealing, does a great job. I give the movie a 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving it an extra 0.5 just for Selleck's mustache alone. It commands attention. And I think it's a great movie that was very, very, very underrated and gets a lot of flack for a lot of the wrong reasons. But I like it. I think you'll enjoy it too. Be on the lookout for my next Mo-vember video where I'm going to be reviewing Tombstone, which is one of my favorite Westerns of all time. Again, a lot of great mustaches in that one too. Kurt Russell and the gang. Again, great performances from them in that. So we're going to be talking about that next time. Until then, you have a great night and enjoy Mo-vember. See you later.